There are always pros and cons of buying new construction, particularly here in our area. Let's talk about it. What is going on? It is Andrew with the Emerald Group right here along the Emerald Coast. Listen, if you're trying to figure out everything there is to know about the Emerald Coast, then you've come to the right channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap that little bell so that you'll be notified every single time we do a new video. Listen, we get calls, texts, and emails all the time of people wanting to move right here to our area. If that sounds like you, well, all of our information is on the screen, so give us a call, text, email, carrier pigeon, however it's best for you to send us a message. Go ahead and reach out to us that way because we'd love to help. But in the meantime, let's talk new construction here in our area. So there's several different types of new construction we will talk about today. I just want to briefly go over them so that you know what I'm talking about. First and foremost isn't new construction. It's called pre-owned homes. These are the normal homes that you're seeing that have already been lived in. You'll hear that multiple times, so I just want to make sure you guys are separating the difference. Then you have spec homes, and these are from spec builders. What they do essentially is pick an area that they're going to build, or maybe even a lot. They say you've got these 4 floor plans, or 2, or sometimes even 1, but they're basically planned out already, and you can't make changes to the major footprint of the property. And then there are new builders who build up, but they wait until the home is completely done so that you can't make any changes. Kind of talk about that a little bit, but for the most part, those are going to be out of the conversation. And then lastly, you'll have custom builds, which is where you can completely customize it. You work with a contractor to let them know, hey, I want it to look like this over here. They work with an architect to make sure that they can draw all of that up, and then start working on the permitting and the counting, all that good stuff that they've got to do. But I'm not going to go into that in this video, but that is another option that we will be talking about. All right, con number 1, the first thing to think about with a new construction is that 99% of the time, they're going to be more expensive than buying a pre-owned property. You are generally paying a premium, and this can go all the way up to like 25%. I mean, realistically, on a custom build, it can get as wild as you want depending on exactly what you're building. So the price difference is definitely something to consider. Now, keep in mind, this is just a baseline price. This isn't including some of the things I'm going to talk about here in a moment about utilities and insurance, which could in the long run be actually cheaper for some people. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Another factor to consider is when working with a custom builder, you're going to have a lot of options. So if you're somebody that wants something very hyper specific, maybe you want a cigar room, or an out secondary shed to build an outside gym, or just a numerous amount of things, then sometimes working with a custom builder might be best because they will be able to build this out exactly as you would like. Now the price tag for this can start getting pretty high, but if you know exactly what you want and money is not as important of an issue, then that might be a good option for you. Generally, the spec builder and the custom builder will lean more on the modern side, but of course keep in mind with a custom builder you can kind of do whatever you want, but if you let them kind of do what they want to do, for the most part they're going to lean more on the modern side. So if you like the modern style look of homes, this could be a great option for you because that's what you're going to get. Just to remind you, a modern style home is going to be more of the open layout with a lot more sunlight, with the bedrooms being closed, the only closed area, whereas all of the family areas are sort of open, so that the cook could be a part of the action in the living room, and somebody in the living room could kind of keep an eye on the kids and everything else. Maybe they're playing in their rooms, or doing homework, or playing outside. You've got a lot of vision just from where you're at in the center of the home, and the rest of it is generally built around it. So if that's something that you already like, and you like the popular style of the way the homes are being built with the finishes and items that they put in them, then this is a really good route for you. And although you can see some of these items in a pre-owned property, you are going to generally have to compete, and then you don't know how good the work was done, and there's just a lot of factors. Whereas, we don't know how good the work's going to be done on a builder necessarily either, but for the most part, they're going to be vetted people, and you've got a little bit better of a chance of it being a higher craftsmanship style with the property. Another great benefit of a new construction versus a pre-owned property is that you're going to get to choose a lot more of the finishes. Now, on a custom builder, you can generally customize it as much as you want, depending on what kind of custom builder they are. If they built it specifically for you, it's what you say goes, as long as you've got the money to put down so that they don't get in a bad position if you decide to walk away, because they are going to have to put a little bit of insurance in there for that. Other custom builders build it custom to give you a lot of options, but you generally have to run it by the builder so that you're not putting putting anything crazy in the home. You know, as much as you might love the color green, if you put green tile in all the bathrooms and green paint everywhere, and then for some reason you've got to back away from the contract, that's not the most popular right now, and it would be difficult for the builder to sell, and they could lose money on it because they were building it for you. And then with a spec builder and most custom builders, you'll also get choices on flooring, cabinets, hardware on them, countertops, sometimes recessed lightings, and other electrical things depending on how early in the process you can get to them. Now this ranges from builder to builder. Some of them will only give you 1 or 2 options, some of them will give you none, and then some of them will give you a crazy amount. You'll have 30 different types of carpet and 40 different types of LVP and 20 different types of wood look tile. You just have lots of options. Some of these upgrades and options will cost a little bit of money in a deposit. So this way, whenever you close, that will be getting eaten up in the purchase price. But again, they want that security knowing that you are going to purchase a home, and if you do have to back away, that they didn't lose money on something that they didn't necessarily want to put in there, you did. So you get to choose from all these options and really make the property your own on most builds, which is very exciting for a lot of people. But you've got to be able to get in there early enough to make all of that happen, which is what we're going to talk about briefly here in just a moment as well. Another great thing with a new build is that you're generally going to get, well, obviously you're going to get brand new appliances, but they don't always include everything. Sometimes the fridge and most commonly the washer and dryers are not included. The fridge is generally negotiated in, or it's an item that the buyer picks up because people are very particular about their fridge. They stopped putting them as part of the contract because they noticed people were just taking them out, putting them in their garage, or just taking them out to the street and just getting a whole new fridge, or of course probably selling the brand new fridge. But you get my point. They didn't want to keep seeing that, so they leave that as an option for you for the most part in our area. Now, of course, this is all builder specific, but my point here is you're going to get new appliances, and new appliances mean lower utility bills, particularly because your roof, your windows, garage door openers, basically all the exit and entry points in your property are brand new as well, which brings that energy efficiency down as a whole and making the overall cost of living in your property much cheaper. That paired on top of the fact that you're not going to have as much maintenance definitely makes this a good choice for a lot of people. And maintenance is so low for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, everything is new, so there's a much smaller of a chance for something to break as something that is 5 or 10 years old. A lot of components on a house last a very long time, but they start getting a little bit more vulnerable even, a little bit before their time is up. So when everything is new, that makes maintenance costs lower. And on top of that, the builder generally provides at least a 1-year builder's warranty so that you can get in the home, figure out everything, all the quirks about it, and then get them all fixed and everything is good to go there. And then on top of that, all of the appliances, HVAC, the roof, the dishwasher, the disposal, all of the stuff is going to have its own warranty on it as well. Some of them will be for 3 years and 5 years, some even 10 and 20 years. It's all going to depend on the quality of the build and the quality of the warranty. This makes this very beneficial for people that don't necessarily want to mess with something. If it breaks, they just want to make a phone call and get it fixed. Now in a pre-owned home, you could still get a home warranty, but it's not going to be near as good as the actual warranty for individual specific parts of the property. And then of course the builder's warranty, which is kind of an all-encompassing safety net for you. Now, lifestyle in a new construction can be completely different, and this is mainly based on location. So if you want to buy in a master plan community, you have that option. We've got several of them out here, and they think of everything. They plan the entire community as a lifestyle instead of just a community to live in. So whether or not this just means they have a pool with a clubhouse and a couple of restrooms so that everybody's got a pool to go to, or it's as extravagant as having multiple pools and gyms and camping sites and docks and just a ton of array of things. Some of them even have biking trails and walking trails, and they think about where all those are going and lakes to fish at, and shops even. We've got a couple of master plan developments out here that are going to be all inclusive, that will include shopping, and it will have grocery store and just lots of different options. It's going to be a whole community. So if the master plan development community sounds like something you like, we definitely have that option down here as well. Now let's talk about timing a little bit. Most new builds are going to take about 4 to 6 months to build. Some will be less, some will be more, some will be a lot more, depending on your price range, where they're building, what they're building, and how specific they're getting for you. This can be a benefit or a drawback depending on how early you start shopping. If you're going to start calling your real estate agent 2 months before you move to the area and you need something immediately, then new construction probably isn't going to be right for you unless it's something that is already built up. But then there's no difference between that and a pre-owned home. You're still going to compete for it. It's going to be in that crazy competitive market. And right now, new construction tends to be slightly less competitive for the most part. This is exactly why I'm always saying on this channel, reach out to us early. You're not going to bog us down. You're not going to bug us. We'll get back to you. We'll have the conversation because we want to make sure that you've got all of your options possible. And if you wait until you're 2 or 3 months out from needing a property, then you're eliminating a segment of the market that might have been perfect for you. So reach out to us early. Now, it's not all benefits. Of course, there are other cons. Depending on what city you're looking in, particularly in our area, we've got certain cities that are landlocked where there's no more land to build on. So they take an older property, they bulldoze it, and they put a new construction there. Now, this is going to give you the benefit of a larger lot normally because most of the homes that they're going to be bulldozing will be in 1940s, 50s, or 60s, and they just had larger yards back then. That's a benefit, but the downfall to some people is that you will have the nice, big, beautiful, new construction home inside of a neighborhood of 1960s and 70s homes, which there may be nothing wrong with that in general, but aesthetically, this might bother some people. Now, we're going to have this as an option in multiple cities that this might be occurring in most commonly, and that's going to be Fort Walton Beach first and foremost, Niceville, Destin, and a little bit in Navarre, although Navarre has a really big chunk of land that they're still building new construction on, so you won't see it as much. It'll be mainly more prevalent in Fort Walton Beach. Most of the other outlying cities, Miramar, 38, all of that, they have got plenty of land around, so that's not an issue for them, although it could be a onesie-twosie thing because some of these less experienced builders, that's what they like to pick up land that's on the market that's easier to go after than going to procure the land themselves. But I'm not going to go into that too much further. My point is, depending on what city you're looking in, your new construction home might be in an older neighborhood. Now, another pro or a con, depending on how you look at it, is that with a new construction, most of the time the big mature trees are not going to be on the property. Because they're generally putting in sprinkler systems and having to dig up the yard, those roots really get in the way, so they generally just bulldoze anything that they think is going to be a problem, which means those big, beautiful, mature trees go away. When you have those trees, like let's say on a pre-owned home, or maybe even on your new construction, they provide a lot of shade for the property, which helps your utilities a little bit, and of course it gives the property a little bit more aesthetics to it, instead of it just being a flat with no trees. Now, neither one of those things are that important to you, the extra $20 a month it's going to be in utilities for not having big shade trees over you, and you don't really care about the aesthetics, then this really doesn't affect you that much. It might be a pro. Now, touching on timeline a little bit too, and how the entire timeline works, I do like to urge people to not put all their eggs in one basket when it comes to the proposed closing date. So let's say you buy a spec build and you're expecting it to be done in July, and they're telling you probably the first week of July. All over the previous months, let's say it rains like crazy and they get pushed back. And if you're one of those people that has everything planned, you've got the movers there, and it's going to stress you out so much to have to change all of that stuff, if construction gets pushed, new construction might not be the best for you because this can happen pretty easily. Maybe you're ready to start considering new construction as a possibility for your move out here, or you're actually ready to go and check out some of these master plan developments that I was talking about. Either one, if that's what you'd like to do, all you've got to do is reach out to us. Remember, earlier is definitely better, especially if you're even considering new construction. So reach out to us. All of our information should be on the screen right here. We would love to help. And if this video was even a tiny bit helpful, like even like this, like a little tiny bit, go ahead and hit that like button, turn that little guy blue for me. It really helps us out, spread the word, so that we can help more people and tell them about our great area. So until we talk, see ya.